Good morning, children. Today we are going to start the fourth chapter of history. What books and burials tell us. So already I told you that there are the sources of history. Three sources of history, that is archaeological sources, literary sources and other sources. So archaeological sources where archaeologist or historian study about the buildings, old buildings, monuments, and literary sources which are related with the literature. Literature means the old books. And other sources like stupas, monuments. So already we had discussed. Today we are going to discuss about the books. What books and burials? Burials means the person who buried under the ground. Tell us. So before going to discussion, we will see the Mary in the library. A teacher was taking the students to the library, and Mary, it was the first time for Mary to enter into the library. When she entered into the library, she saw there were plenty of books which was lying down here and there, or you can say there were number of shelves, number of almiras were there. So Mary was excited to know which all books are there. So one almira was there. Mary asked his teacher, "Sir, what is this? Which books contained in this almira?" So the teacher told that it is these books related to the Vedas. So have you heard about the Vedas? So we will discuss about the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas. Rig Vedas, one of the oldest Vedas, Sam Vedas, Yajur Vedas and Atharva Vedas. So Rig Vedas, which was written 3500 years ago, Sam Vedas, Yajur Vedas, Atharva Vedas. And Rig Vedas contain the thousands of hymns. Hymns means sukta or well said, sukti. Like you are studying the Doha, it is written in sukti or verses of 2 lines. And these hymns praised about the god and goddesses. 3 gods are very important in this Rig Vedas. That is Agni. Agni is the god of fire. Indra, the warrior god. And Soma, a plant from which a special drink was prepared. So 3 gods, Agni, the Indra and Soma. These 3 gods and gods are there in this Rig Veda, important god you can say. And these hymns were composed by the Rishi, and priest taught the student to learn and recite and memorize each of the syllable means sabdans, achar, and each of the word, sentence, bit by bit. So most of the students, earlier students, they recited these hymns which was contained in the Rig Vedas, and few hymns were composed by the women. Rig Vedas was written in Vedic Sanskrit, and the today's Sanskrit, what you are learning, which are different from the Vedas Sanskrit. Today we use the book which was written and printed, but Rig Veda was recited and heard rather than read. It was recited or memorized, and it was written down several centuries after it was first composed. So it was written down several centuries after it was first composed. So it was written, or it was memorized, it was written earlier than the 3500 years ago, but it got printed in 200 years ago. So it came into printed form in 200 years ago. So how the Rig Veda is the source of history? There are hymns which are, some of the hymns in the Rig Veda are in the form of dialogues, and there are one such hymn where the discussion between the Vishwamitra and the two rivers, one is Beas and another is Satluj. Beas and Satluj river. The discussion which was going on between the Vishwamitra and the Beas and Satluj. So what was the discussion? We will see. Vishwamitra requesting these two rivers by saying, "O sister, come to the earth and provide us the plenty of water." And these all things, and he was telling, the Vishwamitra was telling, come to the earth with the two swift of horse and two shining cows that lick their calves. But river said, it was difficult for you all to leave when we come down. You all would drown into the river. It would be difficult for you. But Vishwamitra was requesting these two rivers that to come down. So discussion between the two rivers and the Vishwamitra which was going on, and the Vishwamitra was asking or requesting these two rivers to come down to the earth and provide the water to the needy people. So historian, after saying these dialogues, historians pointed out that this hymns was composed in the area where river flows. And they also suggested that sages lived in the society where horses and cows were valued animal. So by seeing the dialogue between the Vishwamitra and two rivers, the historian predicted that there were cows and horses were there, and also the rivers also flows there. And other rivers, especially Indus and its tributaries, Saraswati and Ganga, that also named into the Rig Vedas. So Saraswati, which flows in Rajasthan, and Beas, that is Saraswati, flows in Rajasthan, and Beas and Satluj, that flows in central Himachal Pradesh to north, that Beas flows in North India, that come out from the central Himachal Pradesh, and Satluj in Punjab. Satluj flows in Punjab. Now we will see which language which was spoken at that time. In North India, especially all this language, regional dialect, what we speak today, was spoken, especially Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri, Sindhi. These languages was spoken, and along with that there were the Dravidian language like Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, which was spoken at that time. Indus River, that also is one of the largest river in Asia. Indus River, you can see in the atlas that Indus River, largest river in Asia, it flows through China, India and Pakistan. So why the battle was fought in the earlier time? So battle was fought for the water, cattle means animal, land and the people. They also captured the people. So for all these purposes, the battle which was fought, it is mentioned in the Rig Vedas, and the wealth which was got by the ruler, or wealth that was obtained was kept by the leader. So wealth they got from the outside or from the people, that was kept by the leader, and some of the wealth which was given to the priest, and rest of the wealth which was distributed among the people. The priest who performed the yajna or sacrifices, and even sometime yajna or sacrifices performed by offering the ghee, grains, and even some of the cases animals which was seen in the yajna. Yajna means sacrifice, balidan. Most men took part in the war. There were no regular army. War was fought, but people were taking part into the war, and there were assembly. People discussed the matter in the assembly. Time to time they met in the assembly. This discussed the matter of war and peace. They also choose their leaders who were often brave and skillful warriors. So there were several ways of describing people in terms of work they do, how the people were described at that time, what language they spoke, and there are two groups, one were Raja and another were Brahmin. Raja means king and Brahmin means priest. And the Brahmin performed, already I have discussed, that perform various rituals. And Raja were not like the one you will learning about later. They did not have capital city, palace or army, nor did they collect taxes. So as you know, the today's Raja or ancient Raja or Mughal time, the emperor, you have seen that they kept large army. They also collected the taxes. They had palaces. But earlier Raja, they did not have such type of things. Like they did not collect the taxes, they did not have the capital cities, they did not keep much army. So all these things And even Raja's sons did not succeeded his father. Means Raja's sons could not be the king after the death of the Raja. So there were two words which described the people or community as a whole. How the people were described, people or community were described. The word jana was used for the people. Jana is the Hindi word jan. Jan means people, and the other one vis. The word comes from the Vaisya. Vis comes from the Vaisya. The society which was divided into the four parts, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Shudra. So Vaisya comes in the third clan. They were the trader, and they were, so Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaisya, Shudra you will learn in the later chapters. Several vis are jana. There were number of reference which was seen in the Rig Vedas, that is Purujana. Purujana was the tribes. Purujana are vis. The Bharat Jana, they were also the tribes. Yadujana, these all described in the Rig Vedas. So sometimes the people who composed the hymns described themselves as Arya and called their opponent Dasas or Dasyu. So people who composed the hymns, they were called the Arya. And those who were the opponent, they were called Dasas or Dasyus. And these people were, the Dasas did not perform the sacrifices. Dasas spoke the various different languages, and later the feminist of Dasa called Dasi. And Dasi means, or Dasa means slave. Slaves were women also, not only men, but women were also there, and they were captured in the war. So men and women, they were captured in the war, and they were called slave. They were treated as a property of the owner. So slavery was at its extreme. It was written in the Rig Vedas. So while the Rig Veda was being composed in the northwest of the subcontinent, so there were other development elsewhere. So northwest it was composed, so other development was also there, and many things which was mentioned in the Rig Vedas, oldest book. So we will see the silent sentinel, Meghalith. Already we have seen the Meghalith means the Middle Stone Age. So what the stone tells, what the burial tells, we have seen about the books, that books had given number of information about our past. Now we will see the burials. So burials, especially about Meghalith. Meghalith means stone, Middle Stone Age. So stone boulders was known as the Meghalith. Literally Meghalith means big stone, big stone. So Meghalith. Meghalith means big stone. They were carefully arranged by the people, were used to mark burial sites. So by keeping the stone, people used to remember these stones, that this burial site means kabr, जमीन के नीचे जो गड्ढा होता है. So burial site belongs to this person. So the practice of erecting Meghalith began in 3000 years ago. So this practice started 3000 years ago. 3000 years ago means the people started using the Meghalith as a source to the burial site that was used 3000 years ago, and that was prevalent throughout the Deccan. Deccan means South India. Deccan, that was prevalent in the Deccan, that you can say South India. And also Northeast and Kashmir. Northeast and Kashmir. Some important Meghalith sites you can see in map 2, page number 30, page number 13. Map 2, the important Meghalith sites are Adichanallur. That is the important, and Brahmagiri. Adichanallur and Brahmagiri. These two sites, Meghalith sites, you can see in your map, page number 13. And where the Meghalith or big stone can be seen on the surface. Surface means jameen ke andar. Other Meghalith burials are often underground. So some of them big stone found on the surface, and some of the which was found under the ground. Sometimes archaeologists find a circle of a stone boulder. So some circle of a stone boulder or a single large stone standing on the ground, and some big stone which was found on the ground. That means if suppose big stone was there, that means there was someone was buried under the ground, or some dead body which was buried under the ground. And this big stone was the symbol of the burial site. As all these burials have some common features. The dead body was buried with a distinctive pot. Different pot was there, dead bodies was buried, which are called black and red ware. Also found are tools and weapons of irons, and sometimes skeleton of horses, house equipment, ornament of stone and gold. So you see on this burial site, some of the times the ornament which was kept with the dead body, the horse equipment which was kept, a skeleton of horses which was found. That means with the dead body, horses was also buried, gold and silver which was buried, stone, and even sometimes the iron equipment was buried under the ground. What did it show? It shows that a rich person who was buried under the ground, they were given the precious stone, or with their body the precious stone was buried, and some horses which was also buried, dasa and dasi was also buried. That means that side belongs to the rich person, like Raja and nobles. And poor people, the dead body which was buried with the tools and weapons, iron tools and weapons. So archaeologists and historians predicted that this body belongs to poor one and this body belongs to richer one. So what was the social differences at that time? How the archaeologists found the social differences? What was the social differences was seen on this megalith? So already I told you the social differences. The dead body where the precious ornament or gold ornament which was kept with the body, horses which was buried with the body, which shows that this body was the body of rich person like king or nobles, and the other dead body where the iron tools, iron weapons which was kept, which shows that this was the body of poor person. There was, it shows the social differences was there. As you can see, the Brahmagiri, that was one of the megalith site. Brahmagiri, it is in Karnataka, that is the mountain range of Karnataka. And mountain range of Karnataka and Kerala. And that is Karnataka, and this one in Tamil Nadu. Adichanallur, that is in Tamil Nadu, and Brahmagiri in Karnataka. We will see what megalith, which type of megalith which was found, which was seen in the Brahmagiri. One skeleton was buried with 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, 4 copper bangles, and 1 conch shell. Other skeleton have only a few pots. So rich person was buried with the 33 gold beads, 2 stone beads, and 4 copper bangles, and 1 conch shell. That was the body of rich person, and the other skeleton was seen with some pots. So archaeologists predicted that this was the body of poor one. So there were the social differences was there. There were the wide differences between the rich and poor, which was seen. So sometimes megalith contain 1 or more skeleton. This indicates the people perhaps belonging to the same family were buried in the same place though not at the same time. The body of those who died later were brought into grave through the porthole. Stones are some of the, you can say that one family, some of the times, the number of skeleton which was found in the same burial ground, and the one hole was made. If suppose the person, you just see, if suppose this is the burial site, if someone is buried over here, some person is buried over here, and here they used to open a small one and they keep a stone boulder, and whenever they want to put another body inside it, they remove this stone boulder, they remove this stone and put the body of that person into the same burial site or same burial ground. And this big megalith or big stone, that was the symbol of remembering or symbol of reminding a person that this body belongs to that particular family. We will see the special burial sites which was seen at Inam Gaon, which is in Maharashtra, present day Maharashtra. It is the site on river Ghod, that is the tributaries of Bhima river in Pune, Maharashtra. So it was occupied between 3600 and 2700 years ago. And the adult was generally buried in the ground, laid out straight with the head towards the north. Sometimes burial were within the houses. So some of the burial which was ground or burial site was found, especially in Inam Gaon, that is in Maharashtra, and the people, they buried their near and dear in the houses, in the house itself. And along with the burial site, they used to put some vessels, food and water along with the dead body. One man was found buried in a large four-legged clay jar in the courtyard of 5-roomed house. So there was the evidence which was found that one man was found buried in the courtyard of 5-roomed house, and that means some of the times the people of the Inam Gaon, they used to bury their dead person or their near and dear into the same house. And even in the houses, all the system was there, granary was there, and all these things was there. We will see some of the times how the skeleton which was detected, but this skeleton belongs to man and this skeleton belongs to women. If a skeleton found with the jewelry, it is sometimes thought to be that of a woman. If it is found with the jewelry which was owned by the women, it was said to be the dead body of women. But there was the problem, in ancient period, the ornament was worn by both man and women. So it was better way of figuring out the sex or gender of a skeleton is to look at the bone structure. By seeing the bone structure, people used to, our archaeologist or historian used to find out that this body belongs to the women and this body belongs to the man. So how they by seeing the hip or pelvic, by seeing the stomach area of a woman, pelvic area of a woman is generally larger that enable childbearing. So as you know, the stomach area of this side of the area of the women, which is larger than the man, because the female has to carry the baby. So by seeing the stomach area, it could be rectified that this body belongs to the women. About 2000 years ago, there was the famous physician named Charaka who wrote a book on medicine known as Charak Samhita. So Charaka was there, Charak Susrut, they were the great physician, Ayurveda, medicine. So Charak Susrut, all this, and Charak had written the Charak Samhita. And he stated that human body had 360 bones, but he has counted all the bones, but later on it was rectified that today we can say that there are 200 bones in the body, but he had counted all the bones, joint and teeth bones and all the bones, and he had written that he had written in his book Charak Samhita that there were 360 bones in human bodies. We will see what type of occupation the people practicing during the time of Rig Vedas. So archaeologists also found there were number of grains which was found, grains called wheat, barley, rice, pulses, millets, peas, sesame, and there were numbers of animals, many bearing cut mark, have shows that they have been used as food. So number of grains which was grown today, that was also seen in the ancient period. Number of animals which was found, cattle, buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, horse, ass, pig, sambar, spotted deer, black buck, antelope, hare, mongoose means nevla, besides birds, crocodiles, turtle, crab, fish. All this was seen during the time of Rig Vedas. Even there was the evidence of fruits was also found, bear, amla, jamun. All this was seen at Inam Gaon. All this was found by the archaeologist. Now we will see you just find out the China in your atlas. Around 3,500 years ago, the first evidence of writing which was found in China, these writings were on animal bone, and because they were used to predict the future. So it was there on the bones of animals. So kings got a scribe to write questions on the bone. So kings had a scribe. Scribe means one who read and write. So the king got a scribe to write questions on the bone, whether they would won battles, would the harvest be good, would they have sons. All this was mentioned on the bone. The bone were then put into the fire and they cracked because of heat. And these kings lived in the palace and cities, and they amassed vast quantities of wealth, including large, elaborately decorated bronze vessels. So you can find the China in your atlas, and after that some of the details of the past, about Chinese past, which you can see in your book. And already now what we have discussed about the book, 4 Vedas, Rig Vedas, Yajur Vedas, Sam Veda, Atharva Vedas. Rig Veda is the oldest Vedas, and these Rig Vedas, what are languages was spoken at that time, that we have discussed, and what dialogue was there between the Vishwamitra and the 2 rivers, Beas and the Satluj, and how social differences was seen, what Meghalith tells us, what burials tells us. All this we have discussed in this lesson. Now we will see the question answer of your book. See page number 44, match the columns. Sukta, you can mark, you can match it, well said. Sukta, well said. Chariots used in battle. And then next one is Yajna means sacrifice. Dasa or Dasi, that is slave. Meghalith is known as the big stone boulder. Now filling the blank, second one, slave were used for work. Meghalith are found in burial sites. Stone circles or boulders on the surface were used to burial. Stone circles or boulders on the surface were used to burial site. Portholes were used for entrance. People at Inamgaon ate grains, meats and fruits. The question number 3, let us discuss in what ways are the books we read today different from the Rig Vedas. Question 3, see answer. So today's books which are printed and it is written in various subjects. But previous books, most of the previous books which was written on the basis of religious ground. So you can write in first paragraph, see once more the answer. Today's books are based on various subjects. The second line, the previous books were based on religious matter. The fourth question, what kind of evidence from burials do archaeologists use to find out whether there were social differences amongst those who were buried? What kind of evidence from the burial do archaeologists use to find out whether there were social differences amongst who were buried? You can see the answer. Rich persons were buried with the costly materials. Rich persons were buried with the costly materials such as gold, stone, copper bangles, conch, and poor were buried with pots only. So see once more, rich persons were buried with costly materials like gold, stone, copper bangles, conch, and poor were buried with the pot only. Hooers were buried with the pots only. The fifth answer, see question first. In what ways do you think that the life of a Raja was different from that of Dasa and Dasis? So you can write, Raja led a luxurious life. Raja's life were luxury. Raja's life were in luxury. And Dasa led a life of slave. So see once more, Raja led a luxurious life and Dasa led a life of slave. Now 6th, 7th and 8th question you can do as a homework. Thank you.